guys, welcome back to Ask Ava. Of course, I'm Ava. And I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. I could not think of a good intro today, and that's just because it's just been a really off day for me. It's just been one of those like mentally and emotionally draining days where, I don't know, my toast got burnt this morning, my makeup smudged, I had a couple emotional breakdowns, as one does throughout the weekday, right? And so all those small little things just kind of added up to where around 3 o'clock I was just like, but I think it's in those moments of weakness that God kept nudging me and was like, hey Ava, it's time to go do a video. And I think that he did that with purpose, because it's when we're in our weakest moments that we can be the most influential to those around us. For example, this morning I was reading about Philippians and Paul, and when he was in prison, he said to the Philippians church that he wanted them to be encouraged by his imprisonment because he was still striving in his struggle. And I think my circumstances of an off day really tie so well into the topic that I felt was laid on my heart today, which is contentment. But the kind of contentment that I want to be talking about today is contentment in the season of life that we're in. And what I mean by that is a lot of you guys could be finishing up school, coming home from Christmas break. Some of you could be coming home from college. And coming home during the holiday season could mean a multitude of different things. It could mean family struggle, relationship struggle with parents. It could be significant other struggles. The holidays bring a lot of struggle for a lot of people. I know that it's bringing a lot of struggle for me this year. But just being content in that season is a concept that I really want to look at, because it's so important, especially as we begin to celebrate Christ's birth. I can definitely relate to this in my own life. Even though I may not be coming home from college, I'm already here. And I don't go to a public school. I've been homeschooled my whole life. And so, yes, whereas I don't necessarily understand coming home or being in high school, I do understand what it means to have struggle during the holidays. Throughout this whole school year, I've been having a lot of struggles with friendships and relationships. And so I think that that's just taken a toll on me during this holiday season, whereas I'm not looking forward to it as much. And even then, in my current life circumstances, I have had to make sacrifices to pursue the Lord. I have had to give things up because I am so passionate about following the Lord. And because I've done these things, that it's put me in a state of grief, in a sense, because whereas I miss these things so dearly, I am pursuing Christ fully. And I know that I've talked about this in my satisfaction video from last week, but I think that when it comes to being satisfied in this season of life that I'm in, yes, I'm seeking for satisfaction in the Lord, but I need to find contentment in Christ, that this season of life that I'm in for a very specific purpose, and he has me in it for a reason. So while I may be struggling with friendships, I may be struggling with family, it doesn't dispute the fact that God does not have me in the spot in my life where I am, probably because he's trying to teach me something, and I just need to have eyes to see it. And so ironically, the verse that came to me when I was thinking about this video was, "Be still and know that I am God." And I couldn't tell you what exact Bible passage and chapter that it was, and good thing about Google, I was able to find it. It's Psalms 46, so if you'll turn to me, we'll be looking at Psalms 46, God is our fortress. If you start reading with me, I'm going to start at verse 1. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains may be moved into the heart of the sea, though waters roar and foam, through the mountains tremble at its swelling. And there is a river whose stream make glad in the city of God, in the holy habitation of the high host. God is in the midst of her, and she will not be moved. God will have helped her in the morning dawns. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, and the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come behold the work of the Lord, for he has brought desolation on the earth. He makes the wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will exalt among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us, and the God of Jacob is our fortress. So this is so crazy. There is a song by Shane called Lord of Hosts, which is based off of this Psalm 46. And although this psalm gives us some very, very descriptive wording about the mightiness and the power that the Lord has, and he reigns over earth, and the amount of crazy things that happen just to show that he is God above all, These may be, you could be saying that's a little melodramatic, if you would say, especially when talking about contentment. You may say, okay, why this verse? Because it's talking about this great and powerful, crazy things happening with God, and then here we are talking about seasons of life that we should be content in. They just may not seem like they have a lot of correlation. But as I started reading this chapter and focusing on the topic of today, which is being content in that season of life, being okay with the chaos that seems to be swarming around you, whether in your school or in your house or with relationships, we have hope that there is a God that is greater than everything else. We have the Lord of hosts by our side, the God of Jacob, the God who moves mountains and controls the seas, and the earth gives way to him. As your life may be seeming like it's moving exceedingly slow or exceedingly fast, the season of life you're in is not without purpose, because here he says, be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations. I will be exalted on the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. And is that just not a super powerful encouragement? Like, no matter what these small little aspects of your life, no matter the amount of small little things that happened to me today, whether I couldn't make my bed right or I spilled juice on my outfit, all the small little things, or whether it's huge, whether it's parents' divorce, whether it's a breakup, whether it's death of family or friends, it does not matter the circumstances. The Lord will be exalted and he will be with you through it, all of it. May your season be grief. May your season be rest. May your season be this multitude of different yet human reactions to a crazy life, because this life is so unpredictable. We're gonna have human reactions because we can't control our circumstances. And so allowing and relinquishing that power to Christ, knowing that we can't control anything. The only thing that we can do is simply rest and be okay and say, okay, Lord, you have this. Power is not mine to hold. The power is yours, because ultimately you will be exalted and you will be praised. And so I wanted to give you guys some ideas that how you can learn to be more content in your season, regardless of what your circumstances are. Here are some things for you to look forward to, or to become more peaceful with your circumstances because you're giving them to the Lord. The first thing I'm going to suggest, and I know I suggest this almost all the time, but prayer is so powerful when it comes to your circumstances and how your outlook on the rest of your life is going to be. As we look here in Psalm 46, it's talking about the majesty and the beauty that God has, and just this power. Verse 4, there is a river whose stream make glad of the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she will not be moved. God will help her when the morning dawns. This is just an encouragement of this power that we're talking about in the first 3 verses, of just this majesty. And here he is sustaining, I think is really the key word that we should be looking at, sustaining just this city. And here he will not be moved. This rings so true, that the God who has the capabilities to do all these things sustains even the lowest of us, which is the human beings that he created. And so coming to prayer to him in humble submission, saying, Lord, I don't have control of my circumstances. I don't have anything to give you. The sacrifice that I'm giving to you is my life, and knowing that in return you will bring me peace, you will bring contentment, and I will find contentment in you alone. I think praying that prayer is so powerful, because it then changes and twists our mindset to have this new appreciation for our circumstances, not because we're in control of them, but because we know that God is ultimately controlling all of it. Oh, there's a person behind me. It's okay. Point number 2 about finding contentment in life circumstances is to find yourself different community that you didn't have before. A lot of times, and I know that I have heard 1,000 people say this, that your mindset is based on the people that you hang around, or the people you hang around you become most like. And this rings actually very true. If I'm around a lot of people that have a negative attitude, most likely I'll start to mimic that negative attitude myself. Or if I'm around a certain group that usually participates in a certain sin, it's general conformity that you're most likely going to do the thing that they're doing as well. And so if you're trying to have a new mindset about your life circumstances, then I would say a good encouragement to have would be to find community that you didn't know that you needed. And I can speak for this in my own life. I struggle with making friends. I struggle with having friends that will stick by my side, that will pour into me and I will pour into them. I struggle with this. But I'm starting to realize that age doesn't have to do with friendship, because ultimately friendship is just someone you find companionship with, and good, solid, godly community is someone who points you more towards Christ. The people that have been pointing me more towards Christ is the young adults in my church group. Whether that be college age, there's a couple young families that I've really enjoyed hanging out with, and I will call them up randomly on a Wednesday night and be like, hey, what are you guys doing for dinner? Can I come over? Like, it's the comfortability that I've built with them to know that they accept me for who I am, and they're here to guide me and to pour into me and to be mentors to me, but also being a friend and a companion at the same time. But ultimately, the most important thing is they're helping me in my circumstances change my mindset to focus more on Christ instead of focusing on myself. And the last encouragement I'm going to give to you guys about finding contentment in your season of life is to identify the lies that you're believing yourself about your circumstances. For a personal example, for me, I feel like the lie that I'm believing is that I'm in isolation. I know that the devil is trying to get me to believe this lie every single day as he reminds me, Ava, here you are alone again. Ava, here you are not having any friends to hang out with. Ava, here you are feeling unloved and so alone. You are going to be like this for the rest of your life. And that's just simply not true. Well, yes, I may be in moments of isolation, but I'm never truly alone, because I always have the presence of the Holy Spirit with me. And I constantly want Jesus by my side, because I never want to walk life without him. Sorry, that was the wind. So whether you're in a season of grief or waiting, or regardless of your circumstances, there are lies that the devil is telling you, trying to dig you deeper into this kind of just burying you in this hole, in a sense, like just trying to layer on top of you lie after lie after lie. And it's so easy to succumb to them, because in our simple human nature, we're gonna accept those things. But we have hope. We don't need to be listening to those lies, because the ultimate hope we have is in the Lord of hosts, the God of Jacob, who is constantly by our side and reminds us of the truths and the promises that he has given to us, his chosen people, and he promises to fulfill even in our daily lives. Trust me, I promise seasons of life will come and go. They may seem super long, they may seem super quick, but regardless, we have a God who's constantly by our side. He promises to never leave us, to never forsake us. And be still and know that he is God, because he has your circumstances under control. It is just our sinful nature to want to hold on to that control and say that we know that this is not what our circumstances should be. We deserve better than this. And yes, while that may be grief talking, that may be struggle talking, but the Lord is in control, and he knows exactly the plans that he has for you. And he promises that no matter your circumstance or season of life, he will bring you through it, and he will fulfill those promises. I just want to close out with one last encouragement, that I promise you that no matter what season of life that you're in, that you are never alone. Where yes, you do have Christ, but you do have community surrounding you as well, whether they may not be in your family or in your church. I in myself in a season of life that I want to get out of, but I'm trusting that the Lord has his ultimate plan at heart, and that my plan is small and little in comparison to this great, ginormous, amazing plan that he has in store for me. And I know that he has the same thing for you. And so all I ask is that, well, actually not all I ask, all he asks is that you trust him, you give him time to work, and in the end, those promises, they will be fulfilled. So I encourage you, trust in the Lord that he will bring you through whatever season of life you're in, and find contentment and joy in it, even if it's hard to. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on Ask Ava today. I'm assuming that this video is a little bit over, because I got very passionately talking today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave it in the comment section, actually. I appreciate you all, and of course, if you ever have any questions that you want me to answer in a video, leave it down in the comments or email me. I have my email up at the top. I hope you have a great day today. Don't forget, this is Ask Ava. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions.